Chapter 43, We're Dating. The beginning of the ride home is silent. Steph busies herself by looking out the window, thinking about what transpired between her and Chris. How on earth does Chris like her? She keeps asking herself. Brooke, the designated driver, does her job but occasionally glances at Steph. She knows that Steph thinks she likes Luke and it must be a dream come true for him to ask her out on a date. But Brooke believes Steph likes Chris but hasn't realized it yet. She believes they're meant to be together. The car comes to a halt when they reach a stoplight. Since Brooke can't stand the silence anymore, so she decides to break it. So, she trails off, tapping her fingers on the steering wheel. Steph turns away from the window to look at her, waiting for her to complete her sentence. So, what's going to happen now? What do you mean? Steph says. What are you gonna do next? What's going to happen next? What will you say to Chris when you guys see each other again, which is gonna be tomorrow? Honestly. Steph looks ahead. I don't know. All I'm very sure of is that it's going to be weird and awkward. Wait. What? What if he was lying? What if this is some kind of joke to him? You know how guys are. It might be a bet of some sort because I'm still finding it hard to believe, Steph says bemusedly. Brooke continues to drive when the light changes to green. What's there not to believe, Steph? What? For crying out loud, the guy just poured his heart out to you and you're finding it hard to believe? I'm finding it hard to believe you right now, Brooke says with skepticism. Steph sighs. How does she expect Brooke to understand? Okay. I've noticed that you seem insecure and I don't even understand why. Have you looked at yourself in a mirror? Girl, if I were single and swung that way, I would totally date you. Steph smiles. I didn't think Luke could ever ask me on a date, to be honest. But he did. Girl, you're gorgeous. No wonder you have 2 out of the 3 hottest guys in our grade wrapped around your little fingers. Steph's eyebrows furrow. 3? Who's the 3rd guy? Cole, duh. Steph chuckles. These guys see something in you, that's why they're falling for you. Please be, you're exaggerating. Steph rolls her eyes. Brooke gives Steph an incredulous glance as she drives. Look, Steph, you have to be confident in yourself. You're beautiful, gorgeous, intelligent, and you have a great personality. You're hot. I don't know what's not to like about you. Thank you. But if this is some sort of joke to Chris, I'll cut off his balls, pluck out his eyes and feed them to him, Brooke says menacingly, and Steph grimaces. That's disturbing, and as awful as that sounds, I don't doubt you. You shouldn't. Nobody messes with my best friend. If Luke messes up also, I won't hesitate to distort his gorgeous face. Please, let's leave Luke out of this. And if this is some kind of joke to Chris, it doesn't matter, 'cause I don't like him in that way. Steph shrugs. The worst thing that can happen is that we stop being friends. Are you sure you don't like him? Yes, I'm sure. Let's stop talking about him now, shall we? Brooke doesn't say anything again as they turn into Steph Street. When she pulls into Steph's driveway, Steph thanks her for the ride. Brooke rolls her eyes and remembers something. Hey, do you have a dress for your date? Nope. Can't I just wear jeans and a hoodie? She grins at Brooke. No way. We're going shopping after school tomorrow, okay? Brooke says with a glint in her eyes at the idea of going shopping. Whatever. Steph grumbles as she opens the door and hops out with her backpack. Brooke watches Steph enter the house before backing out of the driveway with a serious look on her face. Instead of heading home, she heads in the opposite direction. A few minutes later, Brooke pulls over by the curb near her destination. She gets out of her car and heads for the porch with a determined look on her face. She rings the doorbell and a little girl opens it after a while. On seeing her, Brooke's lips break into a smile. Ah, you must be Emily. You're so cute. Brooke coos, bending a little to flick Emily's nose. Who's at the door? Brooke gears Chris' voice before he appears behind Emily. He stares at her in surprise. "Brooke? What are you doing here?" Chris asks. He looks behind her as if expecting someone to be there. "I came alone," Brooke announces after noticing the way he looked behind her. "We need to talk. Can I come in?" Chris hesitates. Sure." Emily gets back into the house and Chris ushers Brooke in, then shuts the door after getting in also. Brooke sits on the same couch as Emily. "Emily, I'm Brooke. I'm Stephanie's best friend." "Stephanie? My babysitter?" Brooke nods. "Oh, nice to meet you. Why didn't Stephanie come with you?" Emily pouts. "I didn't tell her I was coming here, and besides, she has homework to do," Brooke answers. Emily frowns. "Oh. Don't worry. You'll get to see her soon, okay?" "Okay." Emily smiles. The look on Brooke's face changes as she directs her gaze to Chris' figure. "We need to talk." Okay." He turns to Emily. "The pizza is on the island, Em. Go eat. I'll join you soon." Emily nods and heads for the kitchen. Once she's out of sight, Chris asks, "What could you possibly want to talk about that made you drive all the way here?" "Please, have a seat," Brooke orders in a businesslike tone. Chris raises a questioning eyebrow but sits opposite her. "What's this about?" "Steph told me what happened." Brooke deadpans. "Okay," Chris drawls. "What happened?" "Don't play dumb with me. I'm not an idiot." "I'm sure your parents are very proud." Brooke glowers at him menacingly. "Did Hazel send you here?" Chris questions. "No, she didn't. Were you deaf when I told Emily that she doesn't even know that I'm here?" Brooke lets out a breath. "Now, about what you told her in school." "What about it?" Chris pinches the bridge of his nose. "Is it true?" she inquires, inspecting his face carefully for any emotion that'll be contrary to his answer. "Yes, I like her." "Why is that so hard to believe?" he exclaims in exasperation. "Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that you play with girls." "Feelings. You're a player, Chris," Brooke tells him with a deadpan expression. Chris groans and runs his hand over his face. "I'm honestly sick of hearing that word. And I'm not joking around this time." Brooke cuts in. "You better not be. For your sake. Because I'll do worse than chopping off your balls and feeding them to you. Believe me." Chris nods his head as he looks around the living room. "I don't doubt you, and honestly." He makes eye contact with her. "I haven't kissed or hooked up with a girl for over a month now." "What about a guy?" "I'm 100% straight." Silence ensues as Brooke espies Chris through scrutinizing eyes, not believing what he just said about having not kissed a girl for over a month. Chris sighs after a minute. "Did she say anything?" A few seconds pass and Brooke hasn't answered, so Chris begins to think she isn't going to respond to his question. She's still trying to process everything, I guess. Just give her time. Chris nods. "And just for the record, I think you guys look good together." Chris smiles, but it turns to a frown almost immediately. "Doesn't matter. She likes Luke, doesn't she?" Brooke purses her lips and doesn't answer. It's better that way. "When did you start to like Steph?" Chris shrugs. "I don't know. Do you remember the party Jason threw a while ago? The one before Halloween?" "Yeah. We played Spin the Bottle. You were there too, yeah. When Hazel and I kissed, I felt something. I didn't know who she was, but I knew I had to find her by all means." "Wow. So it's that kiss that resulted in all of this?" "Yeah, pretty much." Chris smiles faintly. "I had to force her to come to that party, you know." "Oh really?" "Yeah, I kinda blackmailed her." "With what?" "You don't want to know. Anyways, I have to go," Brooke announces, rising to her feet. Thanks for stopping by to threaten me, Chris says as he walks her to the door. My pleasure, Brooke grins. And I wasn't kidding. I know. Chris opens the door for her. I'll see you tomorrow, Brooke tells him before hollering. Bye, Emily. Hey, Chris. We're having guests over for dinner tonight, Chris' mum tells him, breaking his train of thought. Chris turns to look at his mum at the doorway from his position on his bed. We are? Yes, Kate smiles. Anyone I know? You'll see, his mum says as she walks out of his room, closing the door behind her and leaving Chris to wonder who's coming over for dinner. After helping his mum prepare dinner, they set the table and get ready for their guests. When the doorbell rings, Kate books it to the front door and unlocks it to welcome her guests warmly. Chris is surprised to see Jason and his dad walk in, and he notices the look of confusion on Jason's face also. What's going on? Chris and Jason ask in unison with bewildered looks. Well, Chris' mum decide to answer. Todd and I are friends, so I invited him for dinner. She explains. Do you know he's my dad? Jason asks. Yeah, after a few weeks of getting to know each other, we put two and two together and realized our sons know each other and are best friends, Jason's dad says. Chris and Jason give each other weird looks as they both try to figure out what's going on here. Now, where's little Emily that I've heard too much about? Jason's dad asks. Emily appears timidly from behind Chris on hearing her name. Oh, there you are. Come here, Jason's dad grins at her. She takes tentative steps to him and he picks her up and begins to talk to her. Soon enough, Emily's smiling at him. When he drops her to her feet, she walks over and hugs Jason. He chuckles. Hey, Munchkin. Nice to see you again. Emily grins up at him. You too. Since we're done with all the pleasantries, Chris' mum begins to walk closer to Jason's dad. We have an announcement to make. Chris and Jason share a look. Is it I'm thinking it is? Jason questions. Yeah, Chris' mum interlocks her hands with Jason's dad, who has a grin on his face. We're dating. Holy shit. Dude, we're gonna be brothers, Jason exclaims as soon as they're in Chris' room. Chris smiles. Yeah, if it works out. It will. It must work out, Jason enthuses. After their parents detonated the big bomb of good news, they proceeded to have dinner after congratulating them. After dinner, Chris and Jason decided to come up to Chris' room to chat. And now they're here. Chris wants to be as excited as Jason is, but he just isn't. He's really happy that his mum has moved on from his asshole of a father. He's glad that she doesn't love him anymore. Some part of her probably still loves him, but he's elated that she has decided to move on. And Chris knows that Jason's dad is a good man for her. He isn't as excited as he should be because he's still thinking about Hazel and it's bothering him. He feels like his heart is about to be broken yet again. Jason notices the faraway look on Chris' face. Dude, what's up? You don't look as happy about this as you should be. I'm really happy, trust me, but something else is on my mind. Chris sighs. You know you can tell me anything, Jason says, his tone suddenly serious. Chris stares at him for a while before letting the cat out of the bag. I told her today. Jason's eyes grow wide. You did? Chris nods. Well, it's about time, Jason exclaims. What did she say? Nothing, Chris deadpans. Huh? She said nothing. She just stood there like a fish out of water, man. I walked away. You shouldn't have. Chapter 44, Out of Her Head. Stephanie and Brooke are in Steph's room, getting her ready for her date with Luke. Steph had initially been super excited when Luke first asked her, but now, she doesn't feel the same way. From Monday till now that it's Friday, she feels like all the excitement has been drained out of her. But yes, she's still happy she gets to go on a date with Luke. Sweet, nice, not a playboy Luke. You're wondering about the playboy? Well, Steph can't get her mind off what Chris told her 5 days ago. A part of her still believes it's some sort of prank. Things haven't been the same since then. Things between Steph and Chris have changed. To Stephanie, it seems like Chris is avoiding her at all costs. She thought that since he said they should forget that this whole thing happened, he'd pretend and act like it didn't happen. But is it even possible to pretend that something as huge as that never happened? No, she doesn't think so. The few times that Chris couldn't manage to avoid her, he'd keep his face blank, expressionless, and mutters a hey to her. He wouldn't even call her Hazel like he used to, and neither would he call her by her actual name. He also wouldn't give room for further chit-chat, he'd disappear as soon as he gets the chance. He no longer sits beside her during the classes that they have together. Even if Steph wanted to talk to him, with the way he's avoiding her like she has a very contagious terminal disease, she wouldn't have been able to. And even though Steph doesn't want to admit it to anyone, not even herself, she misses him. She misses him and everything that comes with him. She hadn't realized how much he has rubbed off on her, how much his presence has influenced her. She even misses his cockiness. It's just really weird not having him around. Well, he's around, but distant. He's no longer there to disturb her during history class or comment during maths. She didn't realize how much his being around, his presence, meant to her. Sometimes, she'll find herself zoning out, thinking about how everything has changed. All these happened just because he ended up having feelings for her. If he didn't, things wouldn't have become complicated and she wouldn't find herself thinking about things she shouldn't think about. She wouldn't find herself realizing things she wouldn't have realized if all these didn't happen. You know what they say, you never know what you have until you lose it. That's her case. She didn't know how important Christopher Hayes was to her until all these happened. She still remembers the exact words he said and the way he had said it. Perhaps it started the moment we first kissed during Spin the Bottle at Jason's party that I was so keen on finding out who you are. She didn't even think he could remember that she was the girl he kissed that night. When he'd said it, it had taken her by surprise. It had happened months ago and he didn't even know who she was then, but somehow, he still remembers. According to him, he started asking about her after that kiss. But there was nothing special about the kiss to him. Could there have been? To her, it was the best kiss she has had so far, but she can't say the same about him. It would have been like any other kiss to him. He'd have had better, after all, he has kissed a whole truckload of girls in his lifetime. He'd have had a lot of practice, so he'd know that she wasn't a professional. She probably seemed like a novice to someone as professional as he is. So what was special about the kiss that made him yearn to find out who she was? Could he have felt the same way she did? Stephanie internally groans. Those are the type of thoughts that has been running through her head all week, and the fact that Chris is avoiding her only adds to it. Everything is messing with her head. Or could he have told her that just to mess with her head? Right now is an example of one of her zoning out moments. As Brooke picked out an outfit for her, she zones out, and now that Brooke is calling her name, she doesn't hear. Earth to Stephanie. Brooke sings. Steph finally zones back in and turns to see her best friend holding up one of the 2 dresses she bought for her at the mall on Tuesday. Brooke raises a brow at Steph, watching her suspiciously. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. What makes you think that? Steph asks, avoiding Brooke's eyes. First of all, you zoned out, and second, you've been off all week like something is bothering you. Do you think I didn't notice? You don't even seem as excited as you were for the date when Luke first asked you, Brooke points out. Steph sighs, debating whether to tell Brooke that she's busy thinking about a guy who isn't the one she's about to go on a date with. I guess I'm a little nervous. I've liked Luke for a while now, and now that I'm going on a date with him, I'm nervous. Where do you think he'll take me? Brooke lets out a breath as she rolls her eyes. She goes to sit beside Steph on the edge of the bed. You don't have to be nervous. You shouldn't be nervous, girl. It's Luke, the same sweet guy you've been friends with for more than a month now. All you have to do is let loose, be yourself, and have fun. Steph nods. I'll try. Who knows? You might have your first kiss with him after the date tonight, Brooke says, wiggling her eyebrows suggestively. Steph blushes. Stop. She covers her blushing cheeks with her hands and groans. She wonders if the kiss will be better than the one she had with Chris. Now that that's out of the way, Brooke drawls, standing to her feet. I think you should wear this. She holds up one of the dresses, and Steph shakes her head in disagreement. No. If I must wear a dress, I'll wear the other one. It's more simple, Steph states. Brooke rolls her eyes. Fine. Maybe the date would help her get her mind off Chris. After Luke meets her parents properly and has a talk with her father, they leave the house together. Steph pulls her jacket closer to her body because of the cold air as they near his car. He opens the door for her and she thanks him before getting in. So, where are we going? Steph asks as soon as he enters the car too. She buckles her seatbelt and Luke does too. He turns on the ignition before answering her. I was thinking we could go see a movie and after that, we'd have dinner. That's okay by me. Luke smiles and slowly pulls out of the driveway before heading down the road. A few minutes later, Steph notices how familiar the parking lot that they're parked in is. Then she realizes that they're at the exact same movie theater Chris had brought her on Halloween night, when they had left the party and came here to watch horror movies, which she enjoyed very much. Though she didn't tell, and probably won't ever tell him, she had fun that night. And she had thought it was really sweet of Chris to leave the party and take her to the movies. Steph? Luke's voice snaps her out of her head. Yeah? She glances at him. If you don't want us to go, we can go somewhere else, Luke says softly as if he's afraid to upset her. He noticed that she hasn't made a move to get out of the car since he killed the engine. She seemed lost in thought actually, like she left some part of her back home. No. It's fine. I just remembered something. I'm okay with us seeing a movie, Steph tries to assure him with a small smile. Luke's here worrying about you and you're thinking about your time with Chris here? You're impossible. Isn't that all you've done this week? Think about Chris? Her subconscious chides her. Thank God, Luke sighs. Let's head in, shall we? Steph nods. Yes, we shall. Minutes later, they're on their seats with popcorn and soda that Luke had paid for. They're watching the romance movie they're showing and Steph wishes Luke has asked her what genre she likes to watch. If he did, they wouldn't be watching this. As the movie progresses, all Steph feels is boredom because the movie isn't just romantic, but there's nothing funny about it. She'll have tried to enjoy a romantic comedy because she does love to laugh, but there's nothing humorous about the movie they're watching. She finds all the things the female lead does very stupid and annoying. Since there's nothing she can do, she sucks her annoyance up and sits through the movie. When the credits finally roll, she's even more upset about the ending because the female lead ended up with her best friend even though the other guy risked his life for her and obviously loves her more than her best friend. She can't help but think about how she left with a grin the last time she was here, but now, she has a frown etched on her face. So how was the movie? What would you rate it? Luke asks once they're out. 3 out of 10, Steph deadpans. It's that bad? To me, yes. I can never recommend it to anyone. Wow. I'd have preferred watching a scary movie I've already seen than that crap, Steph says. You watch scary movies? Luke inquires, surprise evident in his tone. I don't just watch them, I love them. I didn't know, Luke replies. We don't know a lot of things about each other, Steph realizes. Well, Luke smiles. That's what we're gonna do at dinner. Get to know each other better. Steph smiles. Sure. Just as they reach Luke's car. After the movies, Luke drove them to an Italian restaurant. And now they're seated, looking through the menu for something to order. The restaurant isn't too classy or anything over the top, so Stephanie loves it. So what are you ordering? Luke asks, looking at her over the menu. I think I'll go for lasagna. Yeah. Steph replies, closing the menu. A waitress comes over to take their order and Steph notices how beautiful she is and how her eyes stay on Luke the moment she sees him. But unlike the bimbo that was flirting with Chris when he dragged her to that cafe, there's nothing flirty about her gaze. She just seems awestruck or fascinated by him. She's looking at him like she has never seen anyone like him before. Steph begins to feel self-conscious. She feels like the waitress looks far better than her in her uniform. Luke, who seems undecided on what to order, finally looks up and the waitress immediately diverts her gaze. She clears her throat. "Can I take your order, please?" "Mushroom risotto for me and lasagna for her," Luke informs her. He looks back at his menu, not bothered by the waitress beauty. The waitress jots it down and asks, "What would you like to drink?" Luke gives Stephanie a questioning look and she shrugs. "I'm okay with water." "Okay, water for her and water for me too," Luke completes the sentence. "Your order will be served in a few minutes," the waitress says before walking away. Silence envelopes them for a few minutes as they both look around to take in the restaurant's look. "So," Luke breaks the silence. "Yeah? Let's start." "Start what?" Steph questions bemusedly. "Getting to know each other," Luke muses. "Oh, that. What do you want to know about me?" "Anything and everything," Luke quips. Steph bites her bottom lip and looks away. "I don't know what to say," she admits. She doesn't think anything is interesting or extraordinary about her that'll interest Luke. "Say anything. Your likes, your dislikes. Just tell me things about yourself." I like watching scary movies." Luke smiles at that. "I have an older brother. His name is Brody and he's in college. I live with my parents. I love reading novels and my favorite genre is mystery/thriller. I don't enjoy reading horror though. It's funny to watch, but not exactly when reading. And oh, I hate parties." "Brody, huh?" His name sounds familiar. "Did he go to our school too?" "Yes, he graduated 2 years ago," Steph answers. "Wow," Luke says just as their order arrives. After thanking the waitress, Steph takes a sip of her glass of water. "And I understand you," Luke states. "Parties. There's nothing special about them. It's just an excuse for teenagers to get drunk and do crazy things. I think there's one tonight." "There's always one party or the other, even on weekdays." Steph shakes her head with a smile. "True. Let's dig in." They begin to eat and as they eat, they keep talking. Luke tells Steph more about himself and they ask each other questions. Steph can't help it, she finds herself comparing every of his answer to Chris' own. His likes, dislikes, and favorite things. Like when Luke says his date of birth is on January 4th, Steph says in her head, "Oh, Chris' own is December." The more words that come out of Luke's mouth, the more she thinks about Chris and can't stop comparing them to each other. And she doesn't think it's healthy in any way. As she stares at Luke's blue eyes, she compares them to Chris' green ones and decides she prefers the latter. By the time they're done with their food, Steph realizes that something is wrong. Why does it feel like she can't get Chris out of her head? Why has he been living rent-free in her head since Monday? She's here on a date with Luke, the guy she has always admired, and she still can't get her mind off Chris. Wait, does she? Could she? No, it's not possible. She can't like a player. No, she does not. When Luke asks her if she wants dessert, she stares at him for a while before answering. She lies. "I'm suddenly not feeling too well. Is it okay if we leave?" Concern takes over Luke's features at her answer. "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Let me settle the bill and I'll take you home." Steph smiles slightly. "Thanks." She can't believe she just lied to Luke, of all people. He doesn't deserve it, but she thinks she'll go insane if she stays any longer. What she needs to do right now is to talk to Chris. She has to talk to Chris. She might go crazy if she doesn't talk to Christopher very soon. Chapter 45, I miss him. "Thanks for tonight. I had fun," Steph says softly to Luke, avoiding eye contact. After she told him more like lied to him, they left the restaurant and he drove her home. "I'm glad you did," Luke replies. I had fun too. Hopefully, we can do this again some other time. I doubt that, Steph thinks, but she doesn't voice the thought. Yeah. She lies yet again. Feel better, Steph. She finally faces him and makes eye contact, smiling a little. Thanks. Luke returns the smile as he stares at her. She stares right back. He begins to lean closer to her and she begins to panic. He wants to kiss me. He wants to kiss me. Isn't that what you've always wanted? Her subconscious asks her. Her answer to that question is yes, but right now that it's about to happen, she doesn't want it to. But before she can do anything to stop what she thinks is about to happen, Luke's lips meet her left cheek lightly before he leans back to his original position and smiles at her. She doesn't know why, but a blush creeps up her neck to her cheeks under his gaze, so she looks away. Thank God he kissed me on my cheek, and here I was, panicking. Luke's smile turns into a grin on seeing the shade her cheeks have decided to take. You're cute. Good night, Luke. Thanks again for tonight, she says as she opens the door. You're welcome. Steph exits his car, shuts the door, and waves as she watches him drive away. She sighs as she heads in. Her mom opens the door as she gets onto the front porch. She must have heard Luke's car. Hey, honey. You're home earlier than I thought, she says as she ushers her only daughter in. How was your date? It was nice, Steph replies as she heads into the living room. She doesn't see her dad, so she asks her mom about him. He's already in bed. He had a little headache, so I forced him to go to bed. Oh, okay. I'm off to bed. Good night, Mom. Steph hugs her mom. She heads for the staircase, but her mom's voice stops her. Stephanie? Is something wrong? Steph turns around, a little taken aback because her mom has never been very observant. Is it that obvious? She smiles. No, Mom. Nothing's wrong. I guess I'm just a little tired. Even though her mom looks unconvinced, she doesn't push. Okay then. Go to bed. Sleep tight. Thanks, Mom. Did Brody tell you he'll be home soon for Christmas break? A smile appears on her mom's face. Yes, he did. You're excited, aren't you? I can't wait. I miss him so much. I miss him too, honey. Run along now and get some sleep. Good night, Mom, Steph says as she begins her journey up the stairs. When she finally gets to her room, she takes off her shoe and jacket before plopping herself on her bed, facing the ceiling. She doesn't know why she feels a little weak, like energy has been drained from her. Is she about to come down with something? Could it be karma paying her back for lying to Luke? Her conscience is still eating at her for doing that. She decides to call Brooke. She doesn't think she can bottle up how she feels anymore. The lid is about to burst open and she feels like she won't be able to take it, so she decides to tell her best friend. They do say a problem shared is a problem half solved. She gets her phone, turns around on her bed, dials Brooke's number, and puts the phone to her ear. Brooke answers on the first ring as if she has been patiently waiting for her to call. Hey, baby girl. How was your date? Brooke's chirpy voice says. Steph has told her to stop calling her that, but Brooke, being the stubborn girl that she is, hasn't stopped. Steph feels like saying it again, but she just sighs, allowing it to slide. It was good. Just good? Did you guys kiss? Steph stays silent for a moment after that question. Hello? You still there? Brooke yells into the phone. Steph pulls the phone away from her ear as she winces. Geez. Can your voice get any louder? She hears Brooke laugh. Sorry. Wait, are you okay, Steph? I'm fine. You didn't answer my question. Brooke deadpans. We didn't kiss. Well, he kissed me on the cheek, not the lips, and honestly. Steph trails off, dreading Brooke's reaction to what she's about to say next. What? I didn't want him to kiss me on the lips. I was mentally panicking when I thought he was about to. Steph admits. Why? I thought it's something you've been dreaming about since you started to like him. Yes, B. It is, well, was. I don't even know what's wrong with me. Steph groans in a frustrated tone. Steph, I need you to calm down and take a deep breath. What the hell is going on? How are you feeling? I don't exactly know what or how I'm feeling, B. All I know is that since Chris confessed his feelings to me, I haven't been able to get my mind off it. Steph reveals. Brooke lets out a breath from the other line. You still think he was lying? I don't want to. Steph cuts in. I don't want to, but part of me still does. What part? Like 5% of me believes he was just kidding. And the other 95%? Brooke questions, obviously smiling. Wants to believe him. I just need to talk to him, B. I need to know. You should talk to him. I haven't been able to get my mind off it no matter how hard I try. I've been thinking about it and him all week. The fact that he's avoiding me is only making things worse for me. I don't even want to imagine how awkward it would have been with him if I babysat Emily this week. He doesn't even sit beside me in class anymore. I lied to Luke during our dinner date because I just wanted to leave. I didn't think it was fair that I was on a date with him and yet I was thinking about another guy. It's frustrating, you know. He doesn't have the right to do that. He just said all those stuff and disappeared. I feel like I'm going insane thinking about it, and the worst part of all this is that I miss him. Brooke, who has been silent, listening to Steph's rant, lets out an excited squeal that has Steph wondering why she decided to tell her crazy best friend. Oh, God! Music is blaring. People are dancing and drinking. People are making out, hooking up, grinding, and whatnot. They're just having the time of their lives. And that's what Chris is supposed to be doing also, but he isn't. He can't even bring himself to. He's just seated in a corner, watching and observing the crowd, something he usually doesn't do, but here he is on a Friday night, at a party doing exactly that. It's not that he wants to be this way. Like he said, he can't just bring himself to act like the people he's surrounded by. He can't act like anything is worrying him, like he has no care in the world. He has tried, he really has. He has tried not to be like this, not to feel how he feels, but all his effort have been fruitless. This whole week has been shitty for him. Hearing about Steph's date with Luke, confessing his feelings to her, and avoiding her in general. It's been crappy. He didn't even want to come to this party, but he decided to since he was looking for some sort of distraction to help him get his mind off Steph. But nothing is enough distraction to get his mind off her. When he sees her in the hallways at school, all he wants to do is walk up to her and chat as they used to do. In the classes they share, all he wants to do is sit beside her to whisper things as he used to do, but he just can't bring himself to. He has been trying to get her out of his head, but he hasn't been able to. She's living rent-free in his head. He knew things won't go the way he wanted when he told her how he felt, but honestly, he felt like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders after he told her. But as the week progressed, there were days he wished he had never told her. Things would have been the same if he hadn't opened up his stupid mouth and spilled his guts to her. He knew he had no chance with her, still doesn't. He's shocked enough that someone like him ended up having feelings for someone like her. According to social standards, he's supposed to go for girls like him, popular and all that. Someone like Poison Ivy, but look what happened there. It would be more shocking if she falls for him. That'll probably happen on the 31st of February in Neverland because she seemed to hate his guts when they first met. Damn, she didn't even want to talk to him and she detested, probably still does, his playboy ways. She's probably on that date right now. Has she even thought of him since Monday? She probably only thinks about Luke, her dream guy. While he's here going crazy with her on his mind, she's probably thinking about another guy. For the first time ever, Chris envies Luke. He's jealous that he has Steph's heart without even trying. Maybe if he is like Luke, Steph will give him a chance or even like him already. It's now he wishes he didn't let what happened with his dad and she who shall not be mentioned turn him into that man-whore that hooks up with girls without even bothering to know their names and moves on to the next. He hates Poison Ivy even more at this moment. Now that he thinks of it, she's probably proud that she broke his heart and hurt him so much that he has never thought of being with any other girl. Up until now. That means he'd let her win all this while, and it makes him sick. She got to move on, but he didn't. He wishes he never met her. If he could turn back the hands of time, he'd never let himself get close to her, let alone ask her out. Instead, he'd invest all that in Stephanie or some other girl that deserves him. Fuck, he feels really stupid right now. But the thing about life is that even though you can't go back to prevent yourself from making those mistakes, you learn from them. Coming out tonight was a mistake. Distraction? Pfft. Nothing has been able to distract him from having thoughts about her, not even the hottest girls. They can bring a model to him right now and ask him to date her, but he'll still prefer Stephanie. She's the only one that matters to him right now. To him, she's the most beautiful girl, and he'll pick her over all these girls throwing themselves at him. Of course, Jason and Max know why he's been like this all week. They've tried to talk him into actually talking with Steph after his confession, but he refused to. They're doing all they can to make him feel better, and Chris appreciates them. They had suggested having a brothers' night at Jason's house. Food, video games, action movies, and more food. But Chris turned it down. They then suggested they have fun at the party together. No girls were involved, but Chris declined again. He didn't want them ditching their girlfriends for him. They reluctantly agreed, and that's why he's here observing without them, because they're somewhere with their girlfriends. Chris sighs before taking the last swig from his beer bottle. He heads for the kitchen, weaving through the bodies to get another bottle for himself. Although the blaring of the music and noise of the crowd can't get his mind off Steph, he still prefers being here than cooped up in his room. It'll be worse in there, so he doesn't have any plans of going home soon. The next morning, Chris jolts awake in a daze, wondering what the hell woke him up when he sees that he's alone in his room. Then he hears it. The doorbell rings and he winces. He came home before 1 a.m. way earlier than he planned. He was drunk, so Jason dropped him off. He was out like a light the moment his body met his bed. He checks the time and wonders who's ringing the doorbell at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. He makes his way downstairs in his hungover and groggy state, hoping the doorbell hasn't woken his mom and sister up. But unlike him, they're heavy sleepers, so he doubts that. He opens the door and the hand that was about to press the doorbell pauses midair. The person standing on his porch shocks all the grogginess out of him and makes him blink twice to be sure. "W, are you doing here?"